Big SEC guys. He's back. He's back, ladies and gentlemen. Tucker, the darn good dog. There he is.
Hoot, 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 hoot,
Round
hoot.
of applause. Wow.
Did
Joe,
that
how you doing
just
today?
to get going a little bit, sometimes
Yeah, nothing like getting barked at by a grown man.
that makes you feel good, doesn't it?
Yeah,
One of my favorite things about people is complaining that you get barked at by a grown man while you're going to a football game full of 18-year-old kids. Since when are we pulling the mature card?
I don't
If
think
we're gonna be college football fans, then we're gonna
Good
enjoy
point.
getting barked at. That's just my point of
that's
view
one
on
way to look at it, I guess. That's one way to look at it.
you can't claim to be better than someone else just because we like to bark at you, you know?
That's why he's the best in the business, folks. Insights like that. That's what makes him so great. Going to watch, yeah, we're watching a children's game and you're complaining about getting barked at.
Yeah, go watch the NFL if you
Unbelievable.
don't wanna get barked at. I'm sure there's plenty of mature adults watching the NFL from their little cush boxes and their nice
This
weather
is
suits.
not an NFL friendly podcast.
No,
That's right.
no. If we're going to do an NFL football podcast, it's going to be a dynasty fantasy football podcast, but that's neither here nor there, folks. We're sticking with the big SEC guys, and we're excited. We're talking UGA football. We're going to do a little team preview. We're going to talk about the depth chart. Tuck's going to give us some insider information. We're going to look at the schedule. We're going to pick some winners and losers. Y'all ready? Y'all ready to do this?
Let's dive
Works
in.
for me.
Love it. Let's dive in. Let's start at the quarterback. Let's dive right in. Gunner Stockton, Tuck, how we feeling?
Gunner's gotten a lot of talks of I feel like he's kind of the talking point of the team, as he should be as the quarterback. But, the truth is I feel like he's getting kind of over talked about a little bit. Is a lot of people saying I either believe in Gunner or I don't believe in Gunner and all this back and forth. And when's the last time Georgia's had an elite quarterback that took them to a national championship team? I
Stetson
can't.
Bennett.
I
That
mean,
was
Matthew
elite, man.
Stafford was probably
Pride,
the last.
pride of South Georgia.
That's right. So, I mean, do I think Gunner's as good as Stetson? Absolutely. Do I think he brings the rah that Stetson brings to the team? Absolutely. I think what I like the most about Gunner is that he is a Georgia boy. He seems to have the team behind him. Everyone likes him. He's got the coaches behind him. And I think those are honestly the most sought after attributes as a quarterback that I'm looking for as a Georgia Bulldog. We've got the rest of the team to put around him. We just need someone who's got enough of the ability. And I love the fact that he does rush. He puts his neck out there. He's got that it factor that we've been missing since Stetson, and that's what I'm excited about Gunner. Now, he also made a lot of mistakes, so we gotta rein those in a little bit, and he got thrown into the ring last year against Texas and Notre Dame, and, our 2 biggest games of the year, in all honesty, and he did enough to beat Texas, but he didn't do enough to beat Notre Dame. And so I think with a summer of help, working with this new wide receiver core, I think is honestly our biggest upgrade that we've got this year. And I'm sure we'll get into that. But I really like the outlook it got.
I think that's pretty fair. I think that's pretty fair. I mean, there's no doubt when he came into that Texas game in the SEC championship, it was a spark because it looked like Texas probably wasn't gonna blow Georgia out, but it looked like they were in control of the game for the most part. And there was no energy on the Georgia sideline, and then he came in, and I can't remember what the down and distance was, but he had a scramble, and he took a pretty good hit. It wasn't anything crazy, but he picked up a first down, and it was like the bench just went nuts. And it just snowballed the rest of the game.
Yeah, I actually went back and watched that game just for fun because, what it was Carson Beck actually went out at the last play of halftime
That's
against
right. Yeah.
Texas trying to throw a Hail Mary and didn't see the guy behind him, and so that's where he got injured and tore his PCL, and
Wasn't
he
it like a 2nd and long or a 3rd down conversion or something he made in
that
the
that
3rd quarter?
that play was overtime. That play was essentially to win the game. It was 2nd and 8, I think. I think we did a draw play for a couple yards, and then it was like 2nd and 8, and he took off, got the first down, so it was 1st and goal on the 3-yard line in overtime. Texas had already hit a field goal, and
Okay,
so the next play, Carson Beck came back in, handed it off
okay, and then
to
won the game.
Etienne,
Okay,
and
alright.
and we finished it off. But what he really did the first drive of that game is he drove it down after we had scored, I think, 3 points the entire first half.
Mhm.
He came in, the first drive, drove 75 yards and scored a touchdown. And so, like, that's what really sparked the team,
Okay.
and it was apparent that everyone around him was playing better because he was
It was a different energy level from 1st to 2nd half.
absolutely. Our defense was keeping us in the game. Our offense hit a different gear with Gunner in the game, and it wasn't because Gunner played better. I don't know if Gunner's a technically better quarterback than Carson Beck, but if everyone else around him plays better, if he throws a more catchable ball as the team that had the most drops in the entire NCAA last year, then, like, those things matter and those help out, and that's what you look for.
And let's call it out. I mean, Mike Bobo's been Gunnar Stockton's essentially personal QB coach since he was a child. I mean, this is Mike Bobo's guy. So if you're gonna put your hat on somebody, it's gonna be the guy you've been mentoring and coaching your whole life. So I think this is
That's
a
right.
this is a this is a big year for the Gunner haters and for the Mike Bobo haters, and I think they probably
Well,
know
I'm a
that.
big Mike Bobo fan. I think he gets so much crap that he doesn't deserve.
Oh, I thought you were joking
Like
as an
you're doing the
Alabama fan.
sarcasm
No,
thing.
no, I think he's a good offensive coordinator. Sorry, I just knocked my screen there. I think he's a great offensive coordinator. I think he caught a lot of flack that first stint when he was there under Rick because Willie Martinez would give up 40 points a game and he'd lose 41 to 38 and everybody'd be mad because Georgia didn't score on the final drive. Well, I didn't think he was treated very fairly. I think
Yeah,
I think he's a
I
good
mean, we could dive down that rabbit hole a lot, but I agree with you, honestly. Last year, he got a lot of flack because he threw 100 screens, and I agree, but what our O-line was so beat up last year,
Yeah.
we couldn't run the ball. Our running back room was so beat up last year that if Etienne got, any sort of ding in his knee or anything, then we just didn't have a running back, and our wide receivers dropped every ball that was thrown to them more than 10 yards down the field. So it was like, what do you
Do
do?
you do? Yeah.
And
Well,
he was in
let's jump in. I wanna talk about this has to be wrong. I was looking on 247 today, and it said that Georgia has 12 returning starters, um, but, like, half of them started for other teams last year, but then I looked at they named them all, and, like, they didn't include the running back as a starter. They didn't include Gunnar Stockton as a starter. So, like, that can't be the right figure. What's the right figure on starters coming back? None of the offensive linemen hardly were included either, and I know they played a lot because of injury last year, so I would have counted them as returning players. So
Yeah, I mean,
what's the figure there?
I couldn't tell you the exact number, but defensively, I mean, our secondary is mostly coming back.
Is intact pretty much, yep.
Yes.
That was included.
So our secondary is looking good. Our linebacker core, we did lose most of the people, but we got CJ Allen and we got Elo Mendoza in the
Oh, Army.
transfer portal. So he's really the one guy on the defensive side of the ball that will be starting that was not a Georgia player last year.
Okay.
I mean, he's the plug-in guy that we went out and got, and everyone is saying that he's living up to the hype from the camps. He's
Great
looking really
story.
good.
That's the Army guy, right?
That's the
The Army
Army
guy.
guy,
Great
and
story.
so
I
he
got
was
you,
highly
man.
touted. I guess he didn't get much hype out of high school,
Find a way to get
but
that guy to the NFL.
Yeah, but, everyone can tell that he's got that dog in him, so, Georgia went out and got him, and, happy about that. O-line, I mean, that's the tough part. I mean, I think we've got one technical, returning starter on the offensive line, but if you look at our snap count from last year on the offensive line, I think we've got 40% of our snap count from
Yeah,
last
see,
year.
I would if I was jotting down notes, I would have included a lot of those guys as returning starters.
Right. But then outside of that, I mean, we got Oscar Delp, and that's really and Dylan Bell, but, truthfully, if you're looking at our receiving room, Colby Young, and no Colby Young, I mean, he was there last year, but he wasn't. And then Noah Thomas, I think Noah Thomas is about to have a big year for us if you want to know the truth. I really like the looks of him in our offense and
Walk
looking at
us through the
Gunnar
receivers.
Watson. Sorry, what?
No, I didn't mean to cut you off. Walk us through the receivers. I think that's a good
Yeah.
call out. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
so
Dylan
truthfully, I
Bell
mean,
and
it's pretty much a complete overhaul of the wide receiver room. We got Noah
Dylan
Thomas,
Bell will be there.
Dylan Bell. He's gonna be the Z wide receiver with Noah Thomas in the X, and then Colby Young getting mixed in, and he had some legal troubles last year that kinda held him out, of most of last year, right when he was starting to get going, and then Zachariah Branch is like I mean, every Georgia
Rusher.
fan in the world is pumped to see Zachariah Branch because we all thought he was gonna be one of our first five-star recruits that we got in a while, and then he chose USC last minute, and then, Kirby did what Kirby does, and he stayed in touch with him and got him a couple years later. So, I think that wide receiver room-wise, we've got the best room that we've had in a while, and that's all coming from transfer portal, um, truthfully, which is very anti-Georgia. We're not used to seeing that, but we're excited to see it. We don't normally go out and get guys unless we need them, and these guys are guys that we needed, and I think that they're gonna fill in and be really, really good, and I think Noah Thomas, particularly having a 6'6" target out on the edge is something that we haven't had since George Pickens, and so having someone like that out there as a just release valve for someone like Gunner to just throw it up to when in doubt is gonna be huge.
Where did he come from?
Texas A&M.
Texas A&M.
So he was Texas A&M's top wide receiver last year, and Coley left us, go to A&M, and then came back to us last year, and he came with him.
That's not what happened. He left you to go to South Carolina and left South Carolina after 3 days and then went to Georgia, just for the
Right.
record. That's the official turn of events. We're not salty
Let the
about it, by
record
the way.
reflect.
Missed that.
Missed that short term
Missed the 3-day the layover there.
the
Well,
old 3-day Columbia layover.
well, what are we missing, Tucker, with Georgia? What we've touched on the wide receivers, touched on the that I that number just didn't seem right to me. They didn't count enough of like the returning actual, like you said, snap count from last year. Touched on that,
Yeah,
touched on
I mean
Gunner. What are we missing? What do we need to talk about?
I mean, I don't think you're missing anything there. I think what we have this year that we didn't have last year is depth. I mean,
Yeah.
when I was really diving into this depth chart, and it's tough to have nowadays with the portal. It's hard to have someone behind that starter that's like just as good that can fill in. Like when someone gets knocked out,
Exactly.
inevitably it's going to happen throughout the year. You
Yeah.
need to have someone that can step up and not have a big fall off. And looking especially on the defensive end of the ball, like we've got guys behind guys that I feel very comfortable with jumping in the event of an injury, and I think that that's huge these days because I think we're done with the years of seeing an elite team, just run with it with second, third string teams that are just as good as the 4th and 5th best team
That's a
in
thing of
college
the
football.
past. That's a
That
thing of
those
the
Nick Saban teams are just not gonna happen ever again because
That doesn't
you can
exist
pay
anymore with the transfer portal. Yeah.
That's right. I mean, you can buy that second place team at Alabama and have a hell of a team that's going to make the playoff.
I
Same
think
with Georgia. I mean,
Georgia's
you're just not going
awesome.
to have
5th
it. So
defensive tackles leaving, yeah.
we've got a lot of depth. It's a younger team, but it's still a lot of depth in the sense of on in a lot of positions. I feel fine if we do lose somebody, but there's also positions where I don't. You know, wide receiver is one of them. Even with these transfers, if we lose Noah Thomas and we lose that big target, I'm pretty scared about it. Our offensive line, I don't feel as good about if we get injured this year as I did last year. Last year we had a lot of depth behind there, and we're going to see a lot of those guys step up and be starters. And I think our O line will be fine if they aren't injured. But if they get injured like they got injured last year, I am worried about it. Gunnar Stockton, honestly, I feel fine if I think he's a great quarterback, but Ryan Puglisi has been getting a lot of hype behind the scenes too. So I wouldn't be that upset if he went. I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't be upset, but I wouldn't be a doomsday dog, I
You're not
guess.
gonna panic. You're not gonna
Yeah, I'm not gonna panic.
Big time
I mean, look,
recruit.
last year Georgia went through all of that stuff, and truthfully, last year I think was Kirby's best job coaching that he's ever had because I don't think that we had. I think that was probably the worst team that he's had put together since his first year coaching, and was still able to win the SEC. Now, a lot of luck was involved with that, but I think in general he did a really, really good job. I think Bobo honestly did a really good job at keeping that offense despite all like just containing all of its potential pitfalls by having a more contained approach.
Tuck, let's go lightning round here. Sort of position by position. Give us an A, B, C, D, F grade for each. How does that sound?
Let's do
The
it.
quarterback room, Gunnar Stockton. What are you going with there?
I'll give him a B right now.
Okay. Like it. Running backs, probably Nate Frazier plus Roderick Robinson and maybe a couple of the other guys. How you feeling about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a B there too. Nate Frazier should be really good. He got a lot of touches last year, and
I think he's gonna explode this year.
he
We
very
gotta
well.
iron out fumbling, but I think he's gonna have a big year this year.
And
Big time
truthfully,
rotation.
Josh McCray, I think, is gonna be really good too. He's our Illinois
Is that the
transfer.
kid
That's
that
more,
transferred? Yeah.
yeah, he's our power back. But he'll be Nate Frazier will be the main running back with Josh McCray kind of taking
Frazier's
the.
got good feet. He's got really good feet.
He
He's
can
a
play.
great. He's got good vision, good feet.
Pad level. He's I actually think I talked about this during our running back, episode, but I actually think he's gonna have a pretty monster year.
Yeah, he very well could. I think we're gonna lean on the run a lot this year,
Well,
where we did
I
last.
think you're gonna need to.
We have
It's
to.
hard to say any Georgia running back's gonna have a monster year just because Kirby's gonna do the big running back by committee, but yeah, Frazier could
Right.
have a good year. All right, so wide receivers, we're thinking some combination of Young Thomas, Zachariah Branch, and then Dylan Bell. How we feeling there?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, call it hope and optimism, but I give this room an A minus. I really like we've
Nice.
got a little bit of everything in that room.
You've got electric Zachariah Branch, you've got the new Debo Samuel, Dylan Bell, and then you've got the big man, the
Then
six
you
six
got the
man.
fade route, tall and lanky, throw it up in the corner of the end zone.
I like it. Tight end room obviously good. Oscar Delp, Lawson Lucky. How you feeling there?
A plus. I mean, we got the best tight end room in the country.
Yeah, I think I might agree with that. Offensive line?
O line, I'll give them a B plus as long as they don't get injured.
Okay,
You know, I don't love the backup situation.
don't love the depth. D line?
I love the 5 starters.
What about D line? D line
D
looks good.
line, B plus.
Okay.
Um,
Linebackers, A plus.
Linebackers, A plus.
Defensive backs, A plus.
Deep
or
back
including
state
safety.
play. Absolutely.
Love it. Tell us about special teams. Anything we need to know? Long
You
snapper,
know,
punter, kicker,
we're
how we feel?
learning Brett Thorson, who we learned last year, just loves to lay down a big hit. Uh,
Is he the
so
Australian guy?
yeah, he's awesome. Um,
Those guys are sweet.
I forget what I think it was Tech. He laid down like a huge hit,
Mhm.
and then went in the SEC game and like went after a huge hit, and then like blew his ACL and was out the rest of the year.
Well, those Australian football guys, like, they tackle in Australian
Yeah.
football. Like,
Yep.
they're
Yeah,
kicking and tackling, so those guys wanna
yeah,
hit, which is
and
cool.
he loved it. He got so excited and then just like fell down on the sidelines, and we never saw him again.
Oh, no.
Let's
Joe, any other
let's
questions?
do
Yeah.
best case, worst case, then let's run through the schedule, okay?
Like it,
Alright.
like
Um,
it.
I've got a best case 11-1, worst case 9-3. I think that's pretty fair.
I'll go, Tuck, we'll save you for last. I'll go, for me, best case, undefeated national champion. Worst case, 9-3.
Yeah, I mean, I think you gotta go best case undefeated because at the end of the day, I honestly think Georgia's gonna be favored in every single game that they play. All their hard games are at home this year, and last year was brutal. I would not have said that last year, but this year with every big game, I mean, not every, Tennessee's away, but most hard games are at home, and so I gotta say undefeated. I will say 9-3 is probably a worst case scenario if we have
I have
some
a hard
injuries.
time we'll get into the schedule. I have a hard time finding 3 losses. It could happen,
Yeah.
but it's difficult to find. I say 11-1. I think the days of 12-0 SEC teams are over, unless you're one of these teams that catches a if we stay with this 8-game conference format and you catch a break like Texas got last year with their schedule or Missouri's schedule is a joke. Um, but I just think the days of a 12-0 SEC team. So you'll be happy to know I also have Alabama ceiling at 11-1 too, and take the glasses off.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I would predict them going 11-1 this year too. Um, it's a, it's just impossible. I mean, you're playing
Yeah, I
Alabama,
think the
Ole Miss.
days
So hard to
I
go
think the
undefeated.
days when you look at the lack of depth that you can build now,
Right.
and with the transfer portal, and then just everybody in the SEC is spending money to try to load their rosters every
And the
week.
other
It's
thing
just
that I
it's
don't
just
think
trending more and more professional week in and week out,
More
more
parity.
difficult. You just don't have the teams that you can just dominate every
and I don't think people talk enough about, like, I think schematically, it's almost, like, bad to go undefeated now. Like, Ohio State last year, I think purposefully did not show a bunch of stuff against Oregon knowing that they were gonna run into them again,
again.
you know? So, like, why
After
would
watching them beat the brakes off of them, it's hard to argue with that. Very well
Yeah.
coached.
it's right, it's like, they didn't throw it to their best player the entire
And
time
they
on,
and
like, in
here's the
that first
thing,
game.
I mean, you hate to say this, but look at that schedule they played last year. They knew that they could lose a game or 2
2
and
games.
still I mean,
I Yeah.
they knew that they could do that. I mean, they knew they
It
could
feels
lose
like
that
you get
Oregon
2
game,
losses
and
now.
I'm not putting the tinfoil hat on, but they knew they could lose that Oregon game and still have a game to lose and be okay.
Absolutely, I think that's a huge part in this. I mean, Georgia playing Texas this year or Alabama, like, I mean, if you're sitting pretty at the end of the year and you're playing one of these big guys and you know you're probably gonna play them again, whether it's the SEC championship or the national or in the playoff, then why? There's no point in showing your whole play sheet out there, and, like, I think a team like Georgia, I think any smart coach like Georgia, Texas, Alabama, Ohio State, they're gonna try they're still gonna try to win, but they're gonna try to win by running the ball down your throat and not doing anything fancy.
They're not pulling the scheme out to its
No, they're
max.
they're
Guys,
thinking 6
that
games
visual
at a time.
that visual is so much fun for me. Georgia plays Texas, what, game 10? And if they're both undefeated, they're both gonna be like, "Alright, run
We're gonna
right,
see
run
we're gonna see
left.
it again in 2 weeks, right?
It's
Like,
gonna
Nobody
be a 3 to
3
6
weeks.
game with
yeah,
everyone running it
nobody's
on
giving
2nd
nobody's
and
giving
14.
anything away. We're playing it super safe, we're not gonna give it all away. We're gonna
I
see you in the
honestly
SEC
think that that's the
championship
case.
where we're gonna play it safe again, and then we'll give it to you in the playoff.
And I honestly, I hate it, but I think that's the new college football. I think there's a lot more chess being played than checkers. I think it used to be, I
Yeah,
mean, the
gotta
regular
win.
season was everything,
Well,
and
I
now
mean, you can go look at our game against y'all last year when you came to Tuscaloosa. The entire first half was nothing you had seen in the 3 previous
right,
games. I mean, it was a totally that defense that we threw out there in the first half had not been on film all year,
right.
you know? So,
That
well, let's run
game
through
of the
these
year.
games real quick. Um,
Yeah, we've got 3 people, so we'll do a democracy. So let's all take our votes.
all right.
That work?
Marshall, I think we know
Win,
that's a
win,
win.
win.
All right,
Love it.
Austin Peay, that's a win.
Win.
At Tennessee, any fear about going up there? I thought that game could have been tricky until their quarterback left.
Yeah, I
Quarterback from
mean,
Indiana.
this early in the season, it doesn't worry me as much as it would've if it was later in the season. Um, I just think we're a better coach.
I've got it as a win for Georgia.
That's a win for me.
All right, then you're off. Then Alabama at home. Let me hear it.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna say a win. But the one Georgia kryptonite year every year is one stud wide receiver, and that's what y'all got. Um, so I will say that's the game that scares me the most.
I'm gonna go loss and let Joe decide it just for the
Yeah, I
content.
mean, I'm not gonna pick against Alabama whether I think they're gonna win or not. So, I'm gonna pick the
But I do
tie.
think Georgia will be favored in that game.
I think Georgia will be favored in the game. Um, it would do a lot for Georgia's confidence to get that monkey off their back a little bit, even if
That's
they do run into each other later in the year. Um, I think it would, but I'm gonna go with Alabama no matter what. So, truthfully, the tiebreaker is gonna be would be Daniel.
Like it. Non-biased media reporting right there.
All
Kentucky,
right,
that feels like a win, right?
Kentucky's a win.
Kentucky's a win.
At
At
Auburn,
Auburn? That's
I
interesting.
so it would be, but they've given Georgia some scare, but they haven't beaten Georgia since what was it? 17? The last time they beat Georgia?
It's been a long time, and if you go back 6 years prior to that, then it's like, they've won, like, twice in the past 20 years or something
Yeah,
crazy.
I mean, it's pretty bad. I mean, there've been some games where they had Georgia on the ropes for parts of the game and taking it late in the 4th quarter, but for the most part, it's tough to call it a rivalry when the other team doesn't win. So, I've got Georgia
2023,
winning
only
that.
took 1 game for Georgia to lose just because of the home streak that we got and how well we play in Sanford and in Athens. That's my biggest like, that game, I've been to Auburn at night and watched Georgia get their ass kicked by a team that was inferior to them, and it just worries me. Uh, they get up for that game. They hate us. I know they hate Alabama more, but god, they hate us, and it's that game's at night, and so that's what freaks me out the most.
What last time y'all played at Auburn was 2023. Weren't they up 20 nothing to start that game, if I remember correctly? Georgia came back and won, but I think it was like a 20-0
I don't know
run
what it
until
was, but they were up and in pretty good control of the game, and then,
oh, they were dominating.
Lott
Dominating
went
the game.
Superman, and
I remember someone texting me in that game being like and texting me in the 4th quarter, it was, like, right when the 4th quarter started and saying, "Hey, are you scared about this game now?" And I go, "Yeah, I'm actually scared now." But I wasn't scared whatever happened in the first half.
Wasn't scared till the very end. You're like, "Okay, this is a little
Yeah,
close."
but then I was like, "Okay, we're playing this bad for this long, we might just not come out of this like, slump that we're in."
Alright, Ole Miss at home, that feels like a win to me. If it was
payback
away, that
game,
would
I
be
got it a
more
win.
interesting.
Because Ole Miss beat us so bad last year, I'm
Got it a
that much
Revenge
more
game.
confident this year.
I think it's
Yeah.
gonna be a pretty good win too. The
Yeah.
scoreboard might only be 14 points or so, but I think it's gonna be pretty physical.
neutral site Florida. That's intriguing to me.
I think it depends where Florida's at. Florida's such a head case of a team that if they're undefeated rolling into that game, they very well might give us a good game, but there's a chance that they've just fallen apart at that point in the season, honestly, in my head. They have a tough schedule, and they've got a good quarterback, and they've got a good team, but their coach, I don't believe in, and so I'm gonna pick Georgia right now, but if it comes down if they're undefeated and we're undefeated or something like that, then I'd give them a much better chance at winning that game.
Yeah, I'll go with Georgia in a close one, like a real
I've got
close one.
Florida winning that game. I think Florida's
Nice.
pretty good this year,
I
and
think Florida's gonna be good
they're
too.
about due for one, and I maintain that if Lagway hadn't gotten hurt in that game last year, they probably pulled it off.
Coulda, shoulda.
Hey, I'm with you, coulda, shoulda, but they coulda, shoulda, he got hurt, went out. I thought Florida was the sharper team and played pretty hard, and they at least showed that they could compete, and
They
Florida
definitely
brings
did.
back a ton of players off that team. I'm expecting Florida to be really good. Unfortunately for Florida is they have to play every single good team in the conference, basically.
That's right. They got a
And
tough
so,
schedule.
Their
like you
schedule's
said,
brutal.
in early November, they could roll into that game pretty banged up. But they do get a bye week beforehand to heal up. Georgia does too. I think Florida's gonna be pretty good. I think that's when they've got circled. Um, and it's been a while since Florida has won that game. So I got Florida. I'll go Florida there.
Like it. At Mississippi State, we're all thinking it. Big win for the Bulldogs in that game.
Yeah, I think we can skip this one, right? That's gonna be Georgia.
Love it. Yeah,
Texas at home, I think this
shout
is
out
gonna be
Mississippi State.
ugly, and I think Georgia's gonna pour it on.
Texas at home. Tuck, how you feeling about that one?
I look, I don't I'm not scared of Texas until they show us a reason to be scared of them. I truthfully,
God,
I mean, going back and looking at that SEC championship game, like, we beat them down, like,
Yeah.
pretty
You
good
made them
that
quit in that second half.
they were like, their lines were the only reason that they were in that game is because they were just throwing up Hail Marys to Matthew Golden, and he was coming down with them, and, like, thankfully, he's gone. Bond is gone. They got Wingo still there, but, like, I think that they lost a lot of their weapons, and unless, um, we're looking at a quarterback that's and Manning, and that's just gonna take over a game like that, I think we've got it won at the line of scrimmage.
give me the
I can't
under
get
here.
over the look in Arch's eyes when they threw him into that game in Austin last year. That, like, really affects my opinion of Texas this coming year.
Yeah.
I think Georgia wins this one and wins it going away in the second.
I want the under in that game. 2 salty defenses. That's gonna be a fun game to watch. Give me the under. I'll take Georgia.
Um,
God.
hold on a second, I gotta find you on my I've got the
Uh,
schedule pulled up.
UNC Charlotte, the
Yep,
49ers.
I think that's a win. Um, any
The
fear of the
Charlotte
Yellow Jackets
49ers.
in Atlanta for a night isn't it gonna be a night game, or have they put a timeout yet? It's gotta be a
You
night.
know, I'm hoping
3:30.
I think they said it's gonna be another Friday night situation,
Yeah.
um, which I
3:30.
love, honestly.
Yeah,
Like,
I do too.
day after Thanksgiving gives us an extra day before SEC championship game. Everything about it I like. But, yeah, I mean, they gave us enough of a scare last year to where the team's not gonna think lightly of them, and I think they're gonna get up and beat them down.
Yeah,
Alright, it sounds like
I think it'll be a salty game. It's good to see clean old fashioned hate kinda have a little bit of juice in it, but I don't know if Tech has it in the tank.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see how Tech does this year, truthfully. I hope last year wasn't a flash in the pan. I like to see Brent Key.
I'm a big, Brent Key fan. I think
I
he's a
love
good
Frank
football
Key.
coach.
That guy's the man.
I'll tell you what, every Georgia fan on every message board wants their offensive coordinator to take Bobo's job.
Doesn't
So,
surprise me.
uh, that doesn't surprise me. Everyone hates Bobo, but it's more of I look at it as everyone likes that their offense coordinator, I
There
think,
you
does do a good job.
So I have, a worst case, best case, 11-1, 9-3. I think Georgia, they're a little young this year. My actual note when I was making notes was talent everywhere, unproven yet. And I think that probably translates to 2 losses somewhere. Find them. I think it's gonna be Bama and Florida, but that's definitely in the playoff. Very well could also be in the SEC championship game again, trying to repeat. Um, and then I think once they get to the playoff at that point in time, you're looking at a pretty experienced team that has grown up, probably pretty salty, and is poised to make a pretty deep run, especially if they get a little bit better draw than they did. Georgia was so beat up going in that playoff last year. I mean, I know we're talking 2025 versus 24, like, we don't have to talk about last year, but I thought they kinda got the raw end of the stick, just from, how beat up they were going into that Notre Dame game, so.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you there. I do think we got but I think we got the right end of the straw when it comes to the draw of like, we were on the right end of the bracket. We didn't have, Texas, Oregon, or Ohio
Oh, yeah,
State.
yeah, yeah. No, I meant just from, like, a health of the team standpoint,
But,
just
yeah,
kinda
I mean,
it
look,
sucks to go into the end of the year like that. We are all beat
with
up.
the new quarterback, I mean, we
It's like a what could have been scenario, I guess is what I'm kinda saying.
right. No, I agree, and look, honestly, going back and looking at that Notre Dame game, which I rewatched yesterday too, and we weren't like, that game was way closer than the score indicated.
It
It
was
was
that
like a
series
game of
right before halftime that let it get away, right? Wasn't that
yeah, we
yeah, yeah.
we yeah, I mean, Kirby, I think Boba's kinda letting people get to his head and trying to get a little riskier, and so he started to, like, try to make a drive with 40 seconds left, and we fumble it on the first play and give them a touchdown right before halftime. We had that long play to Arian Smith where our player ran into the ref that gave up, what would have been a touchdown into a field goal, and so, I mean, you take away those 2 things and we're up at halftime, and then who knows what happens as the game runs out. They had a kick return to open the half for a touchdown.
I know.
They're all of their score they had scored 2 touchdowns, I think, the entire game. They did, 2 touchdowns the entire game. One was a kick return, and one was on that pick right before half, and then they threw a 15-yard dart. So, you know, season could have been completely different, and truthfully, that was not a Georgia team that we really believed in. I think that this is a team that very well could win the national championship if a few pieces really play up to standards, and especially, I think, our wide receiver room. I mean, if our wide receiver room can play up to where we think they can, I think we absolutely can win the national championship this year, and I got us going 11-1. Truthfully, if I'm gonna pick one of 2 my loss is gonna be Auburn or Florida. If I'm gonna put it here, I'm gonna say Florida, honestly. I'm gonna say Florida's our one loss this year. Still make the SEC championship game, still make the playoffs, make a run, and, depending on health, I think we could have a very good run at it.
I like it. I think I'm gonna go 11-1, SEC championship game, playoff, but no national championship. I think we're a year away, maybe.
They win in
I
the
like
SEC, Daniel?
Hate that. No, they're not.
Ooh, who you got then? Are we
Take
gonna
take
hold out
glasses
on
off
this
real quick,
episode?
Tuck, and tell me, I know you said they can win the SEC, can win the national title. Should they? Should they be the favorite going in?
Good question.
I think they absolutely should
Okay.
be. First of all, they're the reigning champs, so
Different
they
team,
deserve it.
different team. This year's
I
team
agree,
this year's team, they listen, I'm with you. They can win the SEC. I
but
don't think they should be the odds-on favorite to win it.
well,
But
I think that they should be the odds-on favorite to win it because I don't think that there's a good pitch for why anyone else has made the jump above Georgia.
fair enough. Good answer.
I think Georgia is just as good, if not better, than last year. And I don't think that Texas losing their quarterback and their top 2 wide receivers, who was that was their whole offense. I mean, look at that Georgia game. I don't know the rushing stats, but it wouldn't surprise me if they rushed for less than 20 yards. It was insane how we were just stuffing every time they handed it to the running back. So, if you're gonna tell me that they made this huge leap forward because of Arch Manning, who has played in less meaningful games than Gunnar Stockton, I'm just not gonna buy it. Now Alabama, if you wanna make that argument, you can, but, y'all are kinda back there in the wishy-washy land with the South Carolinas and the Ole Misses of the world.
I hear you.
Wishy-washy land. I just look
You
at
know, the 13, 14, 15s, those guys.
I just stop at 13, 14, 15. South Carolina was AP coaches poll 13 this morning, Papa. So,
I
13
didn't
in the
see did the
country,
AP
Hey,
sure.
that
come out
sounds right
today?
where y'all left.
Sure. 13th in the country, sounds great. That's right where we were. 13, 14, 50 out of
13, 14,
everybody.
15, right in that range. That's where I like y'all, that B tier of the SEC.
Oh, I thought you were saying, like, 13th in the SEC. I was like, "What a
Oh, no,
fair
no, no,
comment."
no, no.
Yeah. Yeah, we were
Not
13th in the
nationally.
AP poll this morning. No, that's fine. I'm with that. My apologies. You make a fair point.
I'm watching
I
Joe.
just
I just like saying stuff like that to watch Joe twitch a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I listen, I think well, this isn't an Alabama podcast, so we won't but we got a ton coming back off of a really good defense last year. So,
save it
I
for the
expect us to
Alabama
be
preview.
in every game. Now, whether we got enough to do it on offense to get over the top in some of our games, we won't know until we get into the schedule, but we've got weapons on the edge. We've got a pretty good offensive line, running back. Like I said, we'll get into it. I think Alabama can win the SEC. I think we're good enough to do it. I would definitely take this. But that doesn't mean that I think that we should be the odds-on favorite. I don't personally think Georgia should be this year either, but you do make really good arguments against Texas. I mean, like I said, I still go back to the look in Arch Manning's eyes. There was one frame during that first Georgia-Texas game when he went in the game and there was a timeout or a quarter break or something, and the look in his eyes were that big around.
Yeah.
They I can't get over that, and he's gonna have to make something happen in a big game with some real shit on the line to make it work for me.
Yeah, and I
So who else?
go back
So
and
again,
watch the
back to your argument,
highlights.
who else? Who else would it be other than Georgia?
That's right. Well, that
So
and I think Alabama's, like, the obvious next most talented team, like, right there with Georgia and Texas, and could
Think
very
there's
well
so
get
many
there.
good
I
SEC
like
teams.
giving Alabama crap, but, um, yeah, I mean, they're obviously in that mix for sure. South Carolina, you know,
I think there's 7 really good SEC teams.
Daniel has
yeah.
what was it your claim on one episode? You think 6 SEC teams could win the national title?
Could win the national title, absolutely.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's what I said.
100%.
Is South
100%.
Carolina in it for in that
Yeah,
6?
absolutely. Best quarterback, best player, most important position.
Run
You
them
know
down again.
that.
It was Georgia, Texas, Bama, South Carolina,
LSU,
Florida,
Texas
and who else?
A&M.
A&M?
LSU.
Hey, Joe, now that
LSU
you've
can
taken
absolutely win.
over the co-host on this podcast, you gotta remind Daniel that Tulane has more SEC championships than South Carolina.
Oh, I thought he was gonna fire me when I left
Uh,
Sellers out of my top 5 quarterbacks.
yeah,
You gotta remind him that they've
honorable
been to
mention.
1 and they got their asses
I
kicked.
thought I thought he was gonna fire me. Doesn't matter that Sellers is gonna spend half his snaps on his back this year because they can't
Tuck,
block him.
you know the funniest thing? Everybody does that stat about South Carolina. You know South Carolina has more ACC championships than Miami? That's why those stats are so dumb. You
That's
think
actually a
there's no
smart one.
way.
You should get a
Fact.
Miami guy on and give him crap.
Those things are so ridiculous
Yeah,
because it's like, that's
Miami's an
also true.
ACC. This is not the ACC guys podcast.
I know,
Well,
but it's
first of
like,
all,
it's
that
ridiculous.
stat
Miami
that stat
also has 0 SEC championships. So
those stats also don't correlate because Tulane has 1. It's not like they have a ton.
South Carolina has 1.
SEC?
ACC.
No, but y'all have 0 SEC.
Oh, yeah, ACC, though. Miami
Hey,
has 0.
Miami's never won the ACC?
Look it up.
uh-uh. I'm not even sure they've gotten close. Have they played for the title yet? I don't even know if they played in the
What,
title game.
Miami? I guess were they not in the ACC back in the
No, they
like
were in Big
their
East.
heyday?
They made the jump win in, like, 2000.
Yeah, and
When
the
they
one
came over?
good
They
year,
came over with Virginia
Florida
Tech
State
and,
was
like,
also really good. Yeah. The years
Gotcha.
they were really good, Virginia Tech
they
and
were in the
Florida
Big
State were good.
East.
Well,
That's
shows my
neither here
history
nor there.
knowledge of that conference.
Yeah, that's why your stat game is so silly, Tulane. Ugh, don't get me started. Alright, Tuck, before we send you off, I wanted to fact check you on that Georgia-Texas game. Texas ran the ball 28 times in that game. Anyone wanna guess how many rushing yards they had?
Um, 32.
Great guess, Joe.
Oh, let's go. He said 28. They didn't have 28 yards rushing. Go ahead.
28 28 rushes for 29 yards, folks. Big game on the ground.
I
Big
told
game
you.
on the ground.
Big game on the ground.
Like, I was watching that game thinking that they were playing for the playoffs because it was like they just refused to stop running. Like, they just kept running the ball. I was like, "What are y'all doing?" Every time your running back gets the ball, he's 3 yards back. It was crazy.
Not good.
So, yeah, until Texas shows me that they make a big line move, offensive or defensive, and I think it takes depth. I think it takes way more than transfers on the line, to really get to that next level. I'm not gonna believe it.
Like it. Well, that's it, folks.
That's the
46 minutes
Georgia.
Georgia preview. That's it. National champion contender with Tucker, the darn good dog. Speaking of dogs, y'all saw the man popping up. He's happy to be. Woof, 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 woof. All right, folks. That's it for us. Big SEC guys, we're out.
Love y'all. Go Dogs.
Hey, good to see you, Tuck.